Hello, dear fans, friends, and subscribers. This is once again your host Ram welcoming you to your Sunday edition of and cricket happenings. As you know, today it's all about the second day's play in the box is New Zealand versus. But just giving you a synopsis, Pakistan had as New Zealand made 431. They were all out for 431, and Pakistan had closed with 30 for one. So there's no way to go for Pakistan. Kane Williamson getting on to his 23rd century. It was a real to watch. And then, as far as India and Australia were concerned, India were on the ascendant, a 2 runs lead going into the third day, with the stand-in captain Ajinkya Rahane benefiting from two to three drop catches. But in the end, as we all say, that luck favors the brave, and that's what precisely happened. As he also copped a bit of body blows as well, but strode on, and in the end, it was unbeaten with a century. And as you know, Ajinkya Rahane is someone who already has the habit of scoring tons overseas in a regular manner, and that's what precisely happened. But Indians, as I said, on the ascendant, 82 runs lead against the Aussies with 5 wickets remaining. Jadeja giving good support with 40 runs, as this partnership has already yielded more than 100 runs to the good. As far as the other match was concerned, Sri Lanka versus well, the Sri Lankans really, they took with Dasan Shanaka hooking the fast bowlers for sixes. At least the Sri Lankans could reach 390 odd runs. But the South Africans are absolutely equal to the task. They got 50s from Adam Markram, Dean Elgar and Hayden Markram providing a solid opening foundation, both of them getting into the fifth. In fact, Elgar missing his century by just 5 runs. And then everybody playing themselves in. Doug du Plessis is there undefeated at the crease. He has Temba Bavuma for company, and both are looking good. But so first, let's get on to the second day's play in the New Zealand versus Pakistan. The first is at Mount Maunganui, and let's have a look at what happened. If you look at the New Zealand card, they resumed at their overnight score at 222, and definitely there was nothing that the Pakistan bowlers could do. And in fact, one was a bit surprised to see that Mohammad Abbas, who bowled excellently on the other day, was not even seen in bowling. In fact, Shaheen Shah Afridi and Fahim Ashraf for the bowlers. So Mohammad Abbas, one was a bit surprised that one could not see Mohammad Abbas early on in the morning session. But nevertheless, it all panned out well, as Kane Williamson definitely started increasing in confidence. And as I said, once the Pakistani bowlers this time could not get much bite out of the pitch, and it was a different scene altogether, with Kane Williamson striding on to his 23rd century, 129, with 12 fours and 1 6 included in that, as he was caught by Harry Sohail of the bowling of Yasir Shah. So that is Kane Williamson. Henry Nicholls was a victim. Henry Nicholls was on the previous day. Henry Nicholls was a victim of Naseem Shah. He was gone for 56, and he made Henry Nicholls made 56, and then we had BJ Watling. As you know, he's just a stickler at the crease, and he's someone who is such an ever reliable New Zealand bloke there. Stood on there, along with giving good company to Kane Williamson as the score moved on, and it was BJ Watling showing his showing his very stodginess at the crease, contributing 73 with 8 fours. Santner making 19 with 2 fours and 1 6. Kyle Jamieson, again, as you know, he's someone who's always been consistent with the bat, showing his batting prowess. Once again, made 32 runs with 1 4 and 1 6. Tim Southee was out for naught, and after that, it was quick going. In fact, it was Shaheen Shah Afridi getting into the wickets column. He dismissed BJ Watling. A very good catch taken by Yasir Shah. Kyle Jamieson was a victim of Mohammad Abbas. Mohammad Abbas was definitely not making things easy for Kyle Jamieson. As I said, Mohammad Abbas coming late into the attack was simply a sort of a question mark as to why he was brought so late into the attack. Even the commentators were actually mentioning about that. But nevertheless, that was the scene. Yasir Shah clean bowling Tim Southee. Neil Wagner definitely was struck a painful blow on his foot by a Yorker from Shaheen Shah Afridi, left armer, but definitely got up, and he contributed 19 with 2 boundaries. But one has to wait and watch, like, what is the situation as far as Neil Wagner is concerned, whether he would be fit to bowl. He definitely bowled on the yesterday, but one has to see whether that's what the news says, that whether Neil Wagner would be fully fit to take part in the proceedings. But one only hopes that Neil Wagner is fit, because we know what Neil Wagner brings to the table, and he is someone who will go at the rib cage of the Pakistanis. Trent Bolt was not out on 8 and 431 all out, but definitely I thought the New Zealand extended their total further, which is good to see. Shaheen Afridi had picked up wickets, 4 for 109 for him. 1 wicket apiece to Mohammad Abbas. At last, Mohammad Abbas getting into the wickets taking column. 1 for 49. Fahim Ashraf 1 for 40. Naseem Shah 1 for 96. And Yasir Shah 3 for 113. Pakistan had to survive a lot of overs. In fact, they had 20 overs to survive, but in the space of 20 overs, they also lost the wicket of Shan Masood, who was definitely doing well by defending, but Kyle Jamieson got him into an indiscreet shot where Shan Masood tried to glance a delivery outside his leg stump and only managed to get a fine tickle onto it, as bottling behind the stumps did the rest. And Shan Masood was the only wicket to fall. He was gone for 10. And finally, Abid Ali definitely showed very good, I would say, good composure. And he really dealt with the ball well. He was not in much trouble, one could say. And, definitely if he got any bad deliveries, he was willing to play his strokes. As Abid Ali finished not out on 19, Mohammad Abbas, the night watchman, was sent in, with the wicket falling just in the 16th over out of the 20 overs that were bowled yesterday. Mohammad Abbas survived by blocking it to score. 30 for 1 was the final tally for Pakistan at the end of the day. Tim Southee, 7 overs to none for 13. Bolt, none for 8. Jamieson, the wicket taker, 1 for 5. Neil Wagner, 3 overs, 1 for 4. So that's the situation as far as Pakistan and New Zealand is concerned. And definitely from now, while I'm talking to you, probably in 2 hours' time, one could see the third day's play starting at Mount Ganwy between Pakistan and New Zealand on the third day. Now, the next match that I'm going to talk about is India versus Australia, the second day of the Boxing Day Test match. One was really eager to see what would happen, but it was a very interesting situation. In fact, the Indians definitely did a lot of good for themselves, as after what happened, after the debacle that happened in the first test, and definitely India will take a lot from this, especially considering the fact there is no Virat Kohli in the team, but Ajinkya Rahane was the one who definitely has shown, not only has he shown that he can be a good captain, yes, it was quite a different thing altogether that he survived a few drop chances, but that is something that one can expect in cricket. And definitely, I also have to say the Australian fielding was definitely a bit ragged yesterday. If you look at the batting card there, it was Shubman Gill again playing some wonderful stroke. Now, what about Shubman Gill? What one saw was that he's someone who is not over-apt. I mean, even if he gets a good delivery, the next delivery he has, his match temperament is so good that he can turn that ball away for a boundary. And that's what he precisely saw when Cummins and Josh Hazlewood bowled some good deliveries at him. The next delivery was dispatched to the fence. So that really shows that Shubman Gill is very, very conscious of what he's doing. So Shubman Gill definitely played very well, but then Cummins was the one who actually started making inroads into the Indian batting camp, as he first picked up the wicket of Shubman Gill, as Gill played a loose start. It was a ball well outside the off stump, and Gill went after it, but there was not much fruit movement, and that in fact resulted in Payne taking the catch behind the sticks. So, but definitely Shubman Gill had a good debut, missing his maiden 50, no doubt about it. That is something that is definitely going to come. Looking at him as a player, Shubman Gill making 45 with 8 boundaries. So that was 61 for 2. Cheteshwar Pujara definitely did not look his own self. I mean, we saw a lot of in the morning session. We definitely saw that the catches were not going to hand. It was all going behind the wicket, but it was just falling short of the fielders. And Cheteshwar Pujara finally was scalped by Patrick Cummins, the luckless bowler, as Pujara was a very big wicket. It was a brilliant delivery. I mean, this was a delivery, as you call the Jaffa, which any batsman in the world would have been forced to play, and Pujara was no less. As the ball started just moving, just moved a shade, one could say, kissed the outside edge of the bat, and Payne, what a catch from Payne! That was simply brilliant. I thought from Payne, because for a wicket keeper. Being a right-hand wicket keeper, he probably thought from the right, but he was really wrong-footed. But it was a nice dive by Tim Payne, absolutely diving in front of first slip and snapping the. And that was simply a wonderful sight to watch as the captain leading the way there, the Australian captain, Cheteshwar Pujara was gone. Caught Payne bowled Cummins for 17, which made the score 64 for 3, and India were definitely in some trouble. Ajinkya Rahane, the captain, there were two new batsmen in the crease at the time. Ajinkya Rahane and Hanuma Vihari. Hanuma Vihari definitely did a good job, gave good company to Ajinkya Rahane to push the score along, to recover from a score of 64 for 3. It was a partnership which yielded 52 runs, but Hanuma Vihari was looking good. I mean, he was definitely looking good. And that was the time he lost. Probably he wanted to sweep the ball, but Nathan Lyon getting some extra bounce there as the ball definitely skied up as he tried to sweep, as he took the top edge of the bat and went into the air, and it was a real dolly for Stephen Smith. And Hanuma Vihari was gone for 21 with 2 boundaries. So that was, and Ajinkya Rahane, as I said, was definitely, he was definitely living a charmed life. He was dropped a couple of times, and it was not easy. But one thing that Ajinkya Rahane one knows, that he is someone who loves to play overseas, and he is someone, anything short, you can expect him to pull or hook, and that's what he precisely did. He also played some nice drives as well as the score went along. Rishabh Pant came in. Rishabh Pant, as we know, he is someone who is not the one who is going to fiddle around at the crease, and that's what he precisely did. There was a real battle which went on between Nathan Lyon and Rishabh Pant, but Rishabh Pant was definitely not really taking the attack to him. But what one saw from Rishabh Pant was there was some fluent stroke making from Rishabh Pant as and when he played his strokes. He was not going. He was going fully at it, and that was good to see. He stroked some nice strokes down the offside, especially one of the cover drives that he did was brilliant. And Rishabh Pant, as you know, he means business, and he almost caught up with Ajinkya Rahane during his stay, and he made 29 with 3 boundaries, and then it was Stark who actually picked up his wicket as he tried to slash a ball, wide ball outside the off stumps, trying to slash the ball through the point region. He was snapped up, and that made the score 173 for 5. And definitely Ajinkya Rahane, the captain, definitely needed someone to stay with him, and that came in the form of Ravindra Jadeja. Ravindra Jadeja definitely did a very good job. He was tempted a lot of time. They all know that Ravindra Jadeja is someone who likes to attack the spinners. Nathan Lyon definitely tried to do that to him, but it was definitely a very matured innings from Ravindra Jadeja, one thought, as he knew the situation, knew the match situation, that his presence was very important, with only the tail to come for India, barring Ashwin, who can bat a bit. But other than that, only the tail remains. And definitely Ravindra Jadeja has to be given credit. And he looked in, did not look in any sorts of trouble against the bowlers, as he contributed 40 in an unbeaten century from 173 for 5. The score, India closed the day at 277 for 5. It's a 105-run partnership, still going strong, and they have already put India in the lead by 82 runs, with Ravindra Jadeja not out on 40 with a solitary boundary. And the captain, Ajinkya Rahane, as I said, has moved on to his century. He was not out on 104, which had 12 fours in it. As India closed the day at 277 for 5, 82 runs in the lead. The wicket taking, Mitchell Starc 2 wickets, and Pat Cummins sharing 2 wickets apiece, and Nathan Lyon 1. But let's talk about this particular game. Let's talk about the particular day's play. What one saw here from Nathan Lyon is definitely the turn in the pitch. And as I've been saying that, I told you on the first day when Ravichandran Ashwin bowled, there was one ball which turned square. So that really gives me the feeling, and there is a spot on the just outside the off stump where the ball is really, once the ball pitches, it really starts skidding. And looking at that factor, one is really one thinks that the team which is going to bat last on this pitch, it is going to be the Indians, and Indians should be quite wary about it. But one thing is there, that definitely the pitch is going to crack, I'm sure, on the fourth and fifth days, and batting is not going to be any easy. So India have to ensure that they can really extend this lead. They still have Jadeja and Ajinkya Rahane to really take it forward. They have Ashwin to bat a bit. So I think they should make the most of it. They should try to occupy the crease and try to get as much runs as possible. And that should be the key, because it's very important for India to get a very big lead. Probably a lead of around 150 to 175 would do them a lot of good. Because as I said, if Indians are caught on the last day, I'm sure it's not going to be an easy task for India. With Nathan Lyon, a quality off spinner in the Australian ranks, and also we all know that Travis Head can bowl. And Travis Head and other bowlers can also bowl. So let's talk about the Sri Lanka versus South Africa now. The Sri Lankans, as I said, thanks to Dasun Shanaka, who started. He was really, I would say, really pinned in by some bouncers. But Dasun Shanaka, it didn't matter. He's someone who takes the aggressive route, and he started hooking the fast bowlers, the South African fast bowlers, for sixes, as he finished on an unbeaten 66 in the company of the tailenders with 3 fours and 5 sixes. And Rajita was out for 12, Vishwa Fernando not, and the Sri Lankan innings came to a close. They were bowled out for 396, their highest ever total against South Africa and South Africa. And Sipamla was the one who was not only a column, but on his test debut, he's the one who cleared up the tail, and he had his real tail up, as he had figures of 16 overs, 1 maiden, 76 runs, and 4 wickets on his test debut. And that was splendid bowling figures. 1 for 64 for Lungi Yidi, Norgay 1, and Mulder 3 wickets. Now, the South Africans, if you look at the South African batting, they gave a very, very firm reply. They were 317 for 4 at close of play. First of all, Dean Elgar and Adam Markram giving them a solid opening combination. 141 runs partnership between Dean Elgar and Markram. Dean Elgar definitely looked very good at the crease. Markram too, stroking the ball superbly, as he normally does. It was a strokeful innings from Aidan Markram, 68 with 14 boundaries in that, embellished. And Dean Elgar's contribution, very unfortunately, he was out for 95. He was caught and bowled by the medium pace bowler Shanaka. He was just 5 runs short, and it was the pace did him in, I suppose, because he just, as a false stroke, he tried to slap it through the line, and he was a victim of Dasun Shanaka. But Dean Elgar, very unfortunate, was out for 95 with 16 boundaries. But as I said, Aidan Markram's innings of 68 was embellished with 14 boundaries. Rassie van Darderson did not last long. Lairu Kumara taking his wicket as he edged one in the corridor. Dikwala bowled Kumara for 15 with 2 boundaries. And Quinton de Kock looked like the captain, looked like in a really tearing hurry, as Hasanga de Silva was very, very impressive on his test debut. What a ripper from Hasaranga. This was a ball, absolutely a top spinner, pitched, and there was some extra bounce. Totally squared up Quinton de Kock. I thought Quinton de Kock was totally taken aback, and it squared him up, and the ball really went at some good pace, took the edge of the bat, and behind the wicket, it was Laivu Tinamane, the substitute, who actually picked up the catch and it was all going. It was everything went wrong for Quinton de Kock. He was out for 18 with 3 boundaries. But Hasaranga, the right arm leg spinner, looked very, very impressive on his test debut. I've already said that this bloke looks to be the player for the future for me in Sri Lanka. And Duplessis was not out on 55 when stumps were drawn for the day. He definitely, survived a very confident LBW shot. It was reviewed, but it definitely came in favor of the South Africans as Duplessis in relief to the pavilion after being declared not out. He was not out on 55 with 9 boundaries, and Temba Bavuma was giving him good company, not out on 41 with 4 boundaries, and the partnership is already coming to 100 and partnership. So this has been a good going by the South Africans so far, 317 for 4, as that was the thing. So it's only 79 runs that separate the South Africans from going into the lead in this particular match. And if you look at the bowling card for the Sri Lankans, Vishwa Fernando, 15 overs, 2 minutes, 1 for 59. I thought Rajita, unfortunately, was out with an injury, but 2.1 overs, none for 16. Dasun Shanaka, 1 for 56, taking the important wicket of Elgar, and Vanindu Hasaranga, if you're 23 overs, 3 maidens, 99 runs on 1 wicket. Lairu Kumara did not look the self that Lairu Kumara is the paciest of the lot, but he's 15 overs, 1 for 73. So that's the match situation in on the second day in the Boxing Day Test matches that are happening in different parts of the world. Other than that, dear fans and subscribers, I'm just trying to see if there is any other cricket news that I could share with you. Probably I could say about the Big Bash League, where Lewis Gregory was making his debut in the Big Bash League, and he actually his bowling definitely helping the Brisbane Heat getting on to their first ever win of the BBL 2020. Other than that, I've already spoken about Robin Jackman yesterday, the former England seamer and the commentator who passed away. Well, dear fans, friends, and subscribers, pleasure bringing you this Cricket Happening show, and especially feel real pleasure now bringing this Cricket Happening show on a daily basis, especially since I'm off for my holidays here. Really gives me added pleasure to connect with you all. I hope it's the same with you all, dear cricket followers of Cricket Happenings. This being said, it's time to hit the wind up button here for the day. But promising you on Monday, I'll be back with the third day's play in all the Boxing Day Test matches. And that's it from me for today. Thank you.